Live from Saskatchewan, this is the Sask Show with Lindsay May.
1, 2, 3.
The Sask Stuff.
Hey, I'm Lindsay May, and welcome to the Sask Show. Now, Saskatchewan a while ago decided that COVID didn't exist, but the judges here say that those fines people got for way back when we weren't allowed to gather, they're definitely counted and you're going to have to pay them. Recently, Justice Daniel Conkin dismissed a charter application filed by lawyers from the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. Here's what happened. 2 people were fined $2,800 back in December of 2020 for attending an anti-lockdown gathering. Now, that was in the heat of the moment where we were not allowed to get together with anyone. So, just a reminder here, I want to explain to you Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Now, I'm going to read for you Section 1 of the Charter. Very important part of this, and this is what the Justice went by. It guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in it subject to only such reasonable limit prescribed by laws that can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. What does that mean? It says there needs to be reasonable limits for the laws basically to be bent or, changed at that moment. One of those things include public health orders. So for anyone who did decide to violate any of these rules that existed, it's time for them to pay up. Now, no idea what's happening with the money. I don't know what it's used for. Hopefully part of our healthcare system. Fingers crossed. Meanwhile, City of Regina, it is time to get the shovels out. No longer are you allowed to just let it rest on your sidewalks. The City of Regina is finally going to start enforcing their new bylaw sidewalk shoveling rule for this winter. Last winter, they mentioned we're going to enforce this, but they kept it kind of lax. Let's be real here. So now you can wind up with a $100 fine if you do not clear your sidewalk. Here's the thing. All property owners are required to clear their sidewalks within 48 hours of a snowfall. If you're in the downtown area, 24 hours is all you get. Now, it is a $100 fine if you don't do it, but it can actually go up from there. If the snow is not addressed, a contractor then comes in, removes the snow. That's $300 that you're going to have to be paying. Now, before anybody starts to complain and they're freaking out and they're like, well, I pay my taxes and they're really high. This is literally the first city I've ever lived in Canada where you did not have to clear your own snow. And I've lived in other cities that had higher taxes and were not as large as Regina. I mean, gotta be kind of thankful here at the same time too, though, because we don't get really wet snow here. We don't get super heavy snow. We do get it sometimes. Okay, don't freak out on me here. But this is also the first place that I have ever lived where you can take a leaf blower out and blow your snow off your sidewalks. So let's all clear off our sidewalks and make things just a little bit safer for anyone who wants to go walking in the winter this season. And finally, a lot of drama surrounding MAID in the province and the fact that the 811 line has removed it from their services. Not entirely true. First and foremost, what is MAID? MAID stands for Medical Assistance in Dying. Now, why did they remove it? Makes a lot of sense once you hear the explanation. The SHA website says that the number that you call is confidential, a 24-hour health and mental health and addictions education and support telephone line available to the people in Saskatchewan. Now, here's the thing. The Minister for Mental Health and Addictions says it does not make sense to greet the people who are seeking help for mental health issues with the message that could potentially imply that suicide is an option. So they decided to remove that from the 811 line. That does not mean that it does not exist here in Saskatchewan. It is still available. It is still an option for people in the province. The SHA says that the public and the province can still access support and information by calling this number.
With Lindsay May.
Now, as National Day for Truth and Reconciliation is upon us on September 30th, the Royal Canadian Mint has actually come out with a commemorative keepsake coin, and it was actually created with the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. Indigenous creators were a part of this beautiful coin, as you see here. They designed it in collaboration with First Nations artist Letitia Spence, Inuit artist Jason Sokoak, and Métis artist J.D. Hawk. Now, September, of course, in the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation is so important as we all take a second to stop and learn and listen. And the pieces of this coin are actually really interesting. It reflects a lot of imagery reflective of First Nations, of Inuit, and the Métis teachings, along with traditional art forms. Really unique piece. Plus, you can pick it up for about $10 through the Royal Canadian Mint or at any Canada Post locations. Now, the net proceeds from this coin are actually going to be going towards the Namiquanimak Community Support Fund. That was established by the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. So be sure to pick one up and support the fund. And don't forget to be a part of September 30th for National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Something that everyone is watching right now is Hurricane Fiona. She hit Bermuda first. 5 people are dead after that, and more are expected to be uncovered after decimating the area. And she is expected to actually make her way up towards the eastern part of Canada. Now, it's died down again from a Hurricane 3 to a Hurricane 4 category. And here's the thing, very unique situation to see here in Canada. We normally don't see hurricanes of this size and magnitude come across our waters due to how much cooler our waters are. We are expected to see in some areas winds up to 100 kilometers an hour, but in eastern Nova Scotia, some areas up to PEI, we'll be seeing winds up to 140 kilometers an hour. There's already been special reports sent out to everyone in the area to stay safe and stay inside. And we're sending a lot of love to all of our neighbors out on the East Coast. I don't necessarily believe in hopes and prayers because I'm an atheist. You do you. For me, I'm just hoping that everyone takes care of one another and that we once again show what Canadians are all about, and that's taking care of our neighbors. And finally, the feds have decided to get rid of the ArriveCan app and the vaccine requirements. We are expected to see these requirements drop at the end of this month, which means by October 1st, no longer do you have to fill out the very complicated ArriveCan app, from what I understand, with all of your details. Now, this is to say that you might still be required to have your vaccine to arrive in other countries, just not necessarily in Canada. Most European countries before summer began removed their COVID-19 vaccine requirements in a bid to welcome tourists. We were a bit slow on the uptake with this. So now that we're planning on removing this, remember, some locations still require you to be vaccinated. Before you hop on the plane, get to your country and have the worst vacation of your life and shortest one, because you're going to get turned around to go back. You might want to check on those requirements before you yeet out of the country.
Meet the Sask Cast.
Welcome back to the Sask Show. Very excited because this is my first edition of the Sask Cast, where I highlight people from Saskatchewan, whether they're artists, whether they're anyone here in the province. And of course, I'm thrilled to have an artist join me today. We have Anna Marie here. If you want to check her out for yourself, an incredible Saskatchewan artist as well, you can find her official Anna Marie with the letter R at the end there. Here is Anna. Anna, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, the Sask Cast, this is how we do it. I'm going to ask you one question and one question only, and you get to have your moment to shine because I love to highlight our Saskatchewan artists. So Anna, here's my question for you today. If you were to have your own headlining tour where you got to pick the stops, your opening artists, anything like that, who would they be? What would it be called? And what is the significance of your tour?
Well, this is a really big question, so I really appreciate you asking me this. The name of the tour, for a start, is always a really significant for artists. Most of them usually name the tour after the album or single release that they're promoting. But I like to think outside the box a little bit. So even though the name of my record is Keeping It Real, I think I would call the tour the How Far We've Come tour, after the name of one of my favorite songs that I wrote and recorded for this project. The title, How Far We've Come, I feel that it just really encompasses everything I've been through in my music journey. I mean, I started piano lessons at age 7 and played all the way throughout middle school. Got burned out for a little bit, stopped playing for a few years, and then when I turned 18, I just rediscovered that fire and passion that I have for music that's just always been within my heart and soul.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful.
And on a more personal note, I feel that it also just reflects on a lot of the health challenges that I've been through, the adversity I've been through. For those who may not know, I was born prematurely, and I had laser eye surgery at 4.5 weeks old.
Wow.
My vision, it was because of retinopathy at prematurity. So because of that, my vision was severely compromised, and just a few months ago, I would have been considered legally blind if I hadn't had a life-changing eye surgery.
Oh my goodness. So how far you've come indeed, my friend.
Definitely. It would be a dream of mine to eventually tour the US and go to all these places I've never been to. But I think to start with a more realistic guideline, I would tour across Canada to start, especially in my home province of BC. I would obviously play in a larger city like Vancouver, for instance. But I think along the way, I would also want to do more smaller scale acoustic gigs, like in my hometown of Chilliwack, BC. I've never really thought about who I would want to open for me because up until pre-pandemic, I used to play at open mic gigs, and I've always been the one opening for other artists. So I think it would be more of the question of who would I like to invite on stage to play a few songs. And for me, I think one of those artists would be JJ Voss. He's a really good friend of mine. I actually opened for him a few months ago at his Regina show at the Tap, where he called me one of Saskatchewan's coolest rising stars.
Oh, what a guy.
And I love his music, and he is just an amazing performer and songwriter. And yeah, I think it would be really cool to just invite him on stage at one of my shows and play a few songs with him. The closing song would probably be, I'm not sure if you've heard it, but an original song of mine that I wrote a few years ago called Jackass.
I did hear that one. I listen to all your stuff, girl.
So cool. Awesome. Yeah, that song, it was actually played on the radio once, Principal Prairie on CJTR in Regina. And it seems to be the song that most people relate to. So I think it would be a really great one just to tell the story of how it originated and then play it to end things off.
Man, I love your sass. That's perfect. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
If people want to find you online, again, where's the best way to reach you?
The best place to reach me is on Facebook or Instagram. My username there is @officialAnnaMarieR. On my Facebook page, there's actually a link tree in my bio where you can find all my social media links, all my music links, etc.
Anna Marie, I'm going to say this right now because I listen to all your songs that you have available. And girl, I'd love to call you a country pop version of Alanis Morissette, because when I heard your song Jackass, that's exactly what I heard from you. I'm like, dang, we got another Alanis on our hands right now.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. She's actually one of my favorite singers.
I love it. Well, Anna, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate you being a part of this. And again, if you would like to get to know Anna a little bit better, be sure to look up Anna Marie's details. They're up on the screen in front of you right now. We appreciate everything that you're doing. Love supporting our Saskatchewan artists. And thank you once again for being the very first guest as part of the Sask Cast.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's an honor to be here.
Just out for a rip, are you, bud?
If you've ever wanted to take up a sword and pretend you're a Viking, this is your opportunity. really cool event that's happening on October 1st in Saskatoon at the Museum of Antiquities, Adventures with Vikings. Now, I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm going to absolutely ruin the name of these Vikings. So if someone wants to give me the correct pronunciation, please do, because I feel bad about this. But you can actually join the Museum of Antiquities in Saskatoon for the Vajentheim Vikings. I feel like I said it right, but I'm probably wrong. It's an afternoon of Viking culture. Not only will you get to understand what it is like to live a day as a Viking, you'll also get to participate in crafts and activities and see everything regarding Viking culture. So if you're ready to take up a sword, you might want to go check this out. It is absolutely free. Kids are going to love this one. Again, Adventures with Vikings. That's happening at the Museum of Antiquities in Saskatoon on October 1st. And okay, so maybe Vikings aren't your thing. That's all right. You're looking for a sit down, some entertainment, some really good food. This is perfect for you. India Night 2022 is happening same day in Regina at the Delta Hotel. On October 1st, you can be part of the celebration, and if you've never been a part of India culture and everything that they offer from East India, you're gonna get to try the cuisine, you get to see the entertainment. It is absolutely beautiful. You can still pick up your tickets, $150 each, or you can get a corporate sponsored table as well. But if you're looking for a great night out to see some incredible cultural experience, highly recommend you check out India Night 2022 at the Delta in Regina.
Thanks for listening. Follow us online at thesaskshow.ca.